Just a little introductory. We're here today at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center, located in Riviera Beach on Military Trail, 7305 Military Trail in Riviera Beach. And I am Calvin Cartwright, the Executive Director for the Children's Coalition Incorporated. And it's just myself and Mr. Calvin Sloan. How are you today, Mr. Sloan?
Very well, thank you.
Good, good. What is your birthday?
February 8th, 1967.
Okay, and your current address?
1226 Rose Gate Boulevard.
Okay. And you and I are the only ones attending the interview. Okay, what branch of the service were you in?
United States Army.
Okay. And I think you served from 1987 to 1995.
Correct.
Excuse me. Did you serve in any wars?
I served during Desert Storm and Desert Shield, but I didn't go to the wars. I was in Germany.
Okay.
At the time.
What was your rank when you separated?
Specialist.
Is that E4? Okay. Okay. Were you drafted or were you enlisted? Correct.
Enlisted.
Mm-hmm. Where were you living at the time?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Okay. What were you doing at the time before you came into the military? What were you doing? Were you in school?
Nothing too much. No, I just graduated a couple of years prior.
Okay.
And no, just living with my mother, and it was time to get off the pot.
Okay. Excuse me. Were you, why did you choose the Army?
Well, originally I tried to go in the Air Force, but I was a little bit too heavy to go into the Air Force. And so I didn't want to do the Marines, and I didn't want to do the Navy, so I just balanced my options and went with the Army.
Okay. Excuse me, I need a little cramped. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see. Where did you go for basic training?
Fort Jackson,
What state?
South Carolina.
Uh-huh. And what was that like? How long were you in basic training?
13 weeks.
How was it?
Different, worth it. Got me in the best shape of my life. Challenging. Overall, in retrospect, good experience.
You remember your instructors?
Drill Sergeant McNutt, Drill Sergeant Megalinus, and a couple of other ones that I really can't remember their names.
Okay. How'd they treat you? What was the experience like? How was the food?
I don't know. You ate it then and tasted it later, so I don't know how the food was in basic.
Uh-huh.
So, you scarfed it down.
Mm-hmm.
No talking, in and out. So. But it wasn't that bad. I don't remember the food being bad.
Okay. So that was 13 weeks. Where did you go to tech school?
And Fort Sam Houston.
Texas. Okay.
In Texas.
What was your specialty?
91 Bravo. I was a medic, combat medic.
Okay. How long was that?
I forget, but it was longer than 13 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a few months.
Okay.
That was a good experience.
4 or 5 months?
Yeah, 4 or 5 months, I think.
20 weeks? Okay. 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 So I guess it was, how was that experience? You know, tech school, medical. They give you good training or?
Good training, learned a lot. It wasn't easy, a lot of people had to recycle. They didn't drop you, they just recycled you.
Okay.
And it was challenging, and probably drank a little bit too much. But other than that, I was glad to be there. And the city was beautiful, and I had a good time before Houston.
Good.
I'll never forget it.
So where was your first duty base?
First duty.
Did you go home before you went? Did you go home in between?
Yeah, I went home for Christmas. Because I enlisted December 1st, so I got to go home. I think when it was all over, I went home again. I think. No, I know. So yeah, I went home and I went to Germany. Probably from Cleveland.
Okay.
I went to New York, of course, and flew to Germany, and my first duty station was Nuremberg.
Okay.
Stationed in Nuremberg.
Mm-hmm. How long were you there?
I stayed in Germany a total of 5 years. So I was there, I really can't remember how long I was there, probably about a year or so, because the whole company moved to Vilsek, and then I re-enlisted, and I went to Bamberg, Germany, where I spent the rest of my time while I was in Germany.
Okay. And I guess you maintained your status in the same career field for that 5 years?
Yeah,
Medical?
I was still in the medical field. I was actually in a clinic in Bamberg. So,
did you, during that period of time, 5 years, did you service any combat veterans?
yeah, I actually gave everyone immunizations to go.
Really?
It's a shot called the Gamma Goblin that went right in the buttocks. So, I immunized a lot of the soldiers, almost a whole post. I was the immunization NCOIC and also preventive medicine.
Okay. And where were those troops were on their way to the Middle East or what?
Right.
Okay, how about coming back? Veterans coming back? Did you provide them with any services, casualties of war?
Oh, not casualties, but I think they had like some type of in-processing back to Bamberg.
Okay.
That I think that I was involved in.
Okay. Did you or were you involved in any service-related injuries, or people that you see any service-related injuries?
I have service-related injuries.
Okay.
Back, knees. I broke my wrist.
Wow. How'd you do that?
Working in a clinic, it was different from being in a support battalion. Our physical training was in the gym, so I broke my arm playing basketball.
Okay. Do you remember all the places that well, that's okay, we'll get to that. Tell me about all the places that you traveled while you were in Europe.
We lived 50 minutes from Czechoslovakia, so we used to go to Czechoslovakia quite often when I was in Bamberg to get all kinds of crystal, that I still have today.
Right.
I went to the tip of France. I actually crossed the border to France when I was doing a training close to France. I didn't travel as much as, when I look back on it, that I should have.
Okay. Okay. So I guess you didn't get up to Holland or down to Italy? No? Okay. What was that like? Well, did you interact with people there on the economy on a daily or weekly? How was the food on the economy?
Food was good.
What did you do for entertainment?
I went to clubs, like I said. I was in my prime in Germany, so I was going out quite often to the club. Coming in at 4 o'clock in the morning, being in formation at 6 o'clock was nothing unnormal for those days. But you was physically fit. You could handle it. So, but yeah, I got married to a German over there and had 2 children.
Okay. Congratulations. Okay, right on time. Did you deploy? Did you do deployments to the field?
When I was in a support battalion, I did. Not when I was in the clinic.
Okay.
I spent most of my time in the support battalions. My 7.5 year span in the Army. So yeah, I deployed to the field quite often.
What was that like?
Well, it's not something that you want to do. It's something that it was a part of training. It's something that you was ordered to do.
Right.
I don't know. I liked it, and then there was some parts I liked, and some parts I didn't like.
Right. It was cold, huh?
It was cold. Yeah, it was freezing. You got motor pool guard. Was not fun, but just the camaraderie was the fun part. You're out in the field, and you together with the whole company. Sometimes we'd be out there for 45 days.
Right.
So, that wasn't too enjoyable. But again, when you got back, you was glad to be back. So I don't know what to say about the field. It was some good things, some bad things.
Were you how did you stay in touch with your family?
Well, when I had the technology we have today, so
Right.
there was no cell phones, and so you basically didn't, unless you wrote a letter, I guess, and I don't think I did too much of that.
Okay.
So you really didn't, because again, the technology wasn't like it is now.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. Okay, so we don't have to worry about you being a prisoner of war, any of that. Were you awarded any medals or citations?
Yeah, I was awarded, the biggest award that you can get, you can ask any medic, they'll tell you most prestigious award you can get is the Expert Field Medical Badge,
Okay.
which when I was in there, I don't know if it changed at all. It was something like 80 tasks that you had to do correctly. If you miss one, you don't get it. And the last task was something like I can't remember how long it was. It might have been a 10-mile road march that you had to do in so many minutes. So, and you had to be able to read a map and find this point to this point, and NBC type of training, nuclear training, hazardous training.
Right.
But I received that award. That was, one of the proudest things you could do as a medic, which I obtained. I received the Army Achievement Award at AAM. I achieved ARCOM. And then, the regular awards you get, for shooting your weapon. And, you could be a marksman, an expert, or a sharpshooter. So I was pretty much an expert every time. So.
Okay. Okay, congratulations. Let's see. Did you only deploy in Germany?
No, I deployed in Fort Carson, Colorado.
Okay.
I was at Fort Carson. When you're a combat medic, we were a support battalion, so every time the armor units went.
So that was while you were in school you deployed, or when you were in tech school, or were you stationed there?
No. When I went to permanent party, we were support battalion, and every time the armor units went, we went with them to support them. So,
Okay.
As they're there blowing off all their big guns, we're there in our armor tracks, ready to support any type of injuries they might sustain, or having a cold or something like that. We were equipped to handle things like that too.
So now, how did you get to Fort Carson? I was under the impression that you did 5 years in Germany. So when?
I served 7 years, so I did.
So you came back to the States after Germany?
Right, I did like 2 years.
Gotcha.
In Fort Carson.
All right. Was that in reserve or active?
Oh, this is all active.
This is all active duty. Okay, so so in Germany, you only deployed in Germany?
Right.
Okay. So I guess you have shared every place that you've actually been in Europe so far, correct?
Well, I went to Grafenwehr, Vilseck. I think those were the two biggest deployment backyards for the Army.
Right. Okay. So when you were after what was it? 87? 92 approximately. You came back to the States.
Right, 93.
And you were in Europe for 5 years. Did you come home at all and visit?
Yeah, I came home. Family member passed away. I came home then, and then I went home before I went to Fort Carson.
Okay. So on the way back, you stopped.
Right.
Okay. So same assignment, I take it, Fort Carson medic.
Yeah, I was a medic.
Okay. So while you were there for that 2-year period, did you travel anywhere besides Colorado? Excuse me.
Not really. I went up to Denver.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. And how was that experience being in Fort Carson? Was it good, bad, and different?
Well, right as I left Bamberg is when I broke my arm. And when I went to Cleveland, they took the cast off. But when I got to Fort Carson, they found out that it was still broke. So they had to put the cast back on. And so, you know, that was just a long time without, you know, doing physical exercise. And
How long?
I mean, it was a while. It was a while.
Was it a year?
It could have been. It could have been about a year. I mean, I'm not sure now, but that's why I got out of the Army. You know, I was informed that, you know, the overweight program was an honorable discharge, and it came to the point where, you know, I just couldn't keep up. So that's when I got out.
Okay. Did your arm heal?
No, not really. I mean, you hear that?
I heard something before, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, every time it's just a whole bunch of crevice, and you know, it's just painful sometimes.
I hear you. Okay. Huh. Okay, how did you get along, or what did you think of your fellow peers and officers?
I mean, you knew your place. You know, the Army was all about discipline. You know, I think if I learned anything in the Army, it was how to be disciplined, how to be on time to places, and, you know, to have respect for, you know, people of authority. And I think basic training should be mandatory in the United States. You know, 8 to 13 weeks right out of high school, you know, would you know, turn this country around
I hear that a lot.
in ways that,
I agree.
yeah, because you got a lot of knuckleheads out there that need it. I mean, you know, and plus, you know, just it gets you in shape, and, you know, again, it should be mandatory. I think it's mandatory in Germany. I think you have to go to.
When you come out of high school?
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point, you know, you have to serve.
Okay. Yeah, I concur. Did you feel a lot of pressure and stress over your active duty, or did you do reserve afterwards? Okay. Did you feel pressure, stress throughout your military career?
Yeah, I felt pressure and stress. I mean, my marriage didn't last. I brought, you know, my ex-wife and my 2 kids over here, and, you know, again, you know, I was deploying again, and it didn't work out.
Okay.
I felt a lot of stress. You know, I went through anger management classes, and, you know, I still deal with, you know, stress and anxiety, and, you know, to be frank, you know.
Did you feel like you had all the supplies that you needed through your military career, everything that you needed, basically? Whether you were at the clinic or in the field?
We could have used some earplugs. We could have used more earplugs.
figured that late in the game, they would have been giving you guys those things, especially beyond the field around all that artillery and ordnance.
Yeah, they run out and then, you scrounge for some. I mean, but for the most part, you didn't really need much, as far as supplies, like supplies like what? I mean, we didn't need.
What you needed, food or medical supplies.
Food, we had enough food. MREs were horrible, but it was a limited supply of those. So, but no, I didn't feel like we had a supply problem. No.
Okay. Okay. Especially in Germany, but I guess this question again. But even stateside, for entertainers, did entertainers visit the bases?
When I was in Germany, I think we had a few people visit the base. I don't remember anyone visiting Fort Carson, but when we was in Germany, I forget her name. She did a duet with Johnny Gill, Perfect Combination. You remember that song?
You got me on that one.
But yeah, she came and that's my only one.
I always remember him solo or with
Addition.
Right. They all back together again now anyway. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was I don't remember him doing any duets, but I believe you. Okay. Tell me a couple of the most memorable events in your military career.
Getting that AFMB badge was a memorable experience that I'll take with me. Basic training, was a memorable experience. Working in a motor pool, because even though as a medic,
Right.
You had to maintain we had track vehicles. You had your track platoon, then you had your ambulance platoon. We were all one company, then you had your headquarters platoon. I was in the track platoon, so, we had to, we would actually pull an engine out of a track and put a new one in it.
Right.
We was mechanics, / medics.
Okay.
We'll change tracks. How the track. It was nothing for us to replace that whole track.
Right.
We were proficient in a lot of maintenance with the vehicle.
Survival.
Yeah, if it broke down, you had to fix it.
Can take it to the garage, huh?
No, it wasn't no garage. Motor pool out in the field.
Right.
But that's where you trained at when you was back in garrison, and that's where you learn how to do all that stuff.
Right.
So, memorable parts, we partied a lot, and I partied a lot in Germany. A lot. I tell people, we party Monday through Monday. So, again, I was around 23, 24, 25, and I've calmed down slightly since then.
I was stationed in Wiesbaden from 80 to 82. It was a great time. Okay, Did you keep a diary?
No, no. But I went to school and wrote some things about, my experiences that were going on, but, that was more like schoolwork,
Gotcha.
you know.
Gotcha. So you were in Fort Carson when it came time for you to separate?
Right, I was in Fort Carson.
Okay, what were those last days like? What were you thinking about? What were you planning?
Well,
How did you feel?
my wife left at that time when I got out. When I look back on it, just working here at the VA, if I knew the things that I know now back then, I would have had a smoother transition. Now, compared to when I got out, they really take care of the soldier and, as far as medical and, just evaluating the soldier. When I got out, it was just more like, see ya, that's it, and now it's not like that, you definitely get evaluated, it seemed like, well, at least here, because this is the only place I can really judge it by is here, and they really care about your well-being, and they want to get it documented, one way or the other, how you're feeling once you get out, and it's a lot of resources here throughout the hospital that that I had no idea about, when you get out. So,
Right.
So I was scrounging around looking for a job. I actually became a phlebotomist, and then I moved to Columbus, Georgia, and started working at Airborne Express. It was like UPS. I don't know if you heard of it.
Airborne, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then started off a driver, and that's another thing that the Army gives you. You'll shine if you're a good soldier. You'll get on somewhere on a job and shine. And I moved up from driver, supervisor, to manager, to regional manager, and eventually I owned my own contract, so. But then back in 2009, when when the economy just went south,
Yeah.
Airborne was turned into DHL, and DHL stopped shipping domestically, so that's when my contract, went down the tubes with that. So I had to pretty much reinvent myself, and that's why I'm here talking to you right now, because I'm going to school right now to be a social worker, and I work in the social work department here at the VA.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm basically just reinventing myself.
Yeah.
So, that's me in a nutshell.
Gotcha. I know the feeling. Believe me, I know the feeling. Did you utilize your GI Bill?
You know what? No. I tried to.
Yeah.
Initially, I had declined it.
Uh-huh.
Then it opened back up,
Right.
and then I signed up for it. And when I tried to utilize, when I inquired about it, they told me that, I have a paper right here saying that you didn't want it. So I called the people who deal with your LESs. You know the LESs.
What is that?
That's your pay stub.
Okay. Earnings statement.
Earnings statement. And now I have on record, every time they took out that $100 for
Education.
right, for the GI Bill, and I sent that off to them, and then they said, well, it's after 10 years anyway, so you still denied, and I don't feel like a benefit like that should expire.
I agree.
Why would your educational benefits expire? I mean, if you had, it just wasn't a priority at that time, and I think when it's needed, it should be there for me, and it wasn't, and plus I got to run around saying that I denied it, which initially I did, but I had proof that it was coming. I sent them the proof. I sent them every statement that took it out. They take out $100 for a year, and so I sent them a year's worth of my LESs, so that proved that I did it. So
Right. Well, you fulfilled your commitment. I think I understand how you feel.
yeah, I got the raw end of that deal. I even thought about writing the president. I said, why should educational benefits expire? If a soldier want to go back to school, and this is the time that I want to do it.
Right.
Why is it a 10-year limit? Now there's no limits. Like on the post GI Bill, there's no limits.
Oh, really?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
You can go to school, when you get ready.
Well, maybe you should write the letter.
Maybe I should.
You should.
It's $10,000 now I'm draining.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. Did you make any close friends while you were in the service?
Yeah, I have some close friends.
Have you maintained any of those relationships?
Well, Facebook, enabled me to find a few friends that, that I was close with
Right.
in the Army. So, before Facebook came out, I could count on one hand how many friends that I had back in the Army. But, ever since Facebook came back out, or when it originated, I came in touch with, quite a few now. So.
Right. Okay, cool. Have you joined any, or do you still belong to any veterans organizations?
No,
Okay.
not veterans.
All right, just a couple more questions. Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
I support our troops. Do I think there should ever be a cause for war and a loss of life? I think there's alternatives to it. But as far as supporting the troops, I do support our troops.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How did your service and experiences affect your life?
again, like I said, it actually cost me 2 marriages. But I think in the long run, it made me a better person, a stronger person, and with morals, values, that you just take with you for a lifetime. So I think that's how it affected my life. I think that there's some negative effects on it too. I'm kind of like quick to anger sometimes, but not out of control anger, but. I don't find a lot of things. I envy people who can really have a good time and sit there and laugh and have fun, and I'm not that person. I'm more of a serious person. There's the mission. Let's make it happen. Let's get it done, and let's go on to the next. So. I don't know if that's positive or negative, but again, I envy a person that, when I see people laughing and having a good time, I kind of envy that, knowing that, I'm not that person, but,
Last but not least, is there anything that we have not covered in the interview that you feel needs to be shared?
No, I think that, the way veterans are treated now is, has evolved much better than, when I got out. So, that's a positive. So, I think that they're doing a great job, especially here at the VA. The motto here is, the cost of freedom is visible, everywhere you look. And, it's the truth, and a lot of people genuinely care, in this facility, and now I'm a part of that team, and I'm definitely grateful for being a part of this VA team, and having my chance to working with the social workers. I don't know if I said consequently I'm in school to be a social worker.
Right, yeah, you did.
And it's just giving me a chance to get myself back where I need to be. So,
Okay.
I can't complain.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for your service and thank you for a great interview.